Iowa.
Mr. President, this past weekend marked the 389th birthday of the National Guard. The Guard was on the front lines in our fight for freedom even before the birth of our nation and played a critical role in securing our independence. Today, the men and women who put on the uniform continue to live out that legacy by serving our communities, responding to disasters and emergencies, and protecting our nation's defense in overseas combat, security, and reconstruction missions. The members of the National Guard are hardworking folks who live and work in our communities and made a commitment to our country to be ready whenever and wherever duty calls. As a proud veteran of the Iowa Army National Guard, I raised my right hand and also took the oath to serve. And that service was shaped by the folks in uniform who were standing shoulder to shoulder with me. From those who served alongside me to those who came before me and after me, we all promised to be always there, always ready. But instead of celebrating that legacy last Saturday, our nation was rocked with the news that we had lost some of our own. And nowhere felt this tragic loss more than Iowa, as we learned 2 brave Iowa National Guardsmen gave their lives in service to our country. While supporting counterterrorism operations in Syria, Sergeant Edgar Brian Torres Tovar and Sergeant William Nathan Howard, members of the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 34th Infantry Division, came under fire and were killed by a lone ISIS gunman near Palmyra. This senseless attack also took the life of a U.S. civilian interpreter, Ayed Sakad, and wounded 3 more members of the Iowa National Guard. 2 of the injured service members were evacuated for surgery. They were taken from Syria to Jordan, and from Jordan on to Germany. And in keeping with always there, always ready, it was actually an Iowa unit, the 185th Air Wing, the 185th Medical Group, that evacuated our Iowa Army National Guardsmen from Jordan to Germany. They surrounded the wounded and reassured them that they were all from Iowa, and they were there to care for their Iowa brothers. But our Iowa National Guard family is hurting as we mourn the loss of 2 of our own and pray for the continued recovery of our wounded. My heart goes out to their families, their loved ones, and of course, the folks they served with. This loss is immeasurable. So please join me in honoring the lives of these heroes today. Friends describe 25-year-old Edgar Brian Torres Tovar from Des Moines as selfless, goofy, and kind-hearted, an amazing soldier and an even better friend. He was the first in his family to serve in the military. He joined the Iowa Army National Guard before his high school graduation ceremony in 2019, which speaks to his character in wanting to serve at such a young age. Sergeant Torres Tovar, your service and sacrifice will never be forgotten. My heart breaks for your friends, your family, and your community. And as I was able to speak with his family yesterday, they were torn apart and still in shock at the loss of their son. I was able to hug his mother and hold her hands and express my sorrow that she would not see her son again. 29-year-old Sergeant William Nathaniel Howard, known as Nate, from Marshalltown, Iowa, was a loving husband and described as an amazing man of faith. He joined the Iowa National Guard soon after graduating from Marshalltown High School and has been enlisted ever since. His stepfather, Jeffrey Bunn, who serves as the Meskwaki Nation Police Department chief, shared that Nate wanted to be a soldier from a very young boy all the way to his adulthood. To his family, especially his wife, Ariana, and their son, my prayers are with you. These men are two of our nation's finest, a true testament to the selfless bravery it takes to put on the uniform and keep our homeland safe from the threat of radical Islamic terror. They are also a reminder that our freedom is not free, and every American owes an enormous debt of gratitude to our service members who put their lives on the line. I know firsthand the sacrifice of men and women who put themselves in harm's way. In 2003, I had the privilege of leading 150 Iowa Army National Guardsmen as a company commander in Iraq and Kuwait in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Together, we drove supply convoys conducting transportation and security missions in a combat zone. My soldiers, those incredible men and women, were critical to the mission, and our shared trust and commitment to each other was a very special bond. To those who have served alongside Sergeants Torres Tovar and Howard, and to the 1,800 Iowans currently deployed through the Middle East, I feel your loss and your hurt. I have been in those boots. And rest assured, America has your back. When I heard the tragic news, I rushed to comfort the families and traveled to visit the wounded and escort the fallen back to our homeland. Sergeant Howard's brother, Staff Sergeant James Rolsgaard, who was serving in Kuwait at the time, also a National Guardsman, he and I accompanied the bodies to Dover Air Force Base. Before we left Germany, we had a moment alone with the other escorts in the hulk of that C-17, which ironically was piloted and flown by the West Virginia Air Guard. West Virginia having lost a soldier here locally only a few weeks ago. But in that C-17, Sergeant Rolsgaard knelt down beside his brother's transfer case draped in the flag, and he wept. We all feel that loss. I was able to accompany our fallen back to Dover Air Force Base. And there we were joined by our Iowa delegation and led by our Commander-in-Chief, and all together we comforted the families, and we mourned together. Our governor, Kim Reynolds, has ordered all flags in Iowa to fly at half-staff out of respect and remembrance until the bodies of our Iowa National Guardsmen have returned home and are laid to rest. But that does not mark the end of their stories. We will continue to stand with their families and communities in mourning. We will make sure the world knows the legacy of Iowa's heroes and that every American life is precious. Sergeant Torres Tovar and Sergeant Howard, we remember you, we honor you, and we are proud of you. Your nation is indebted to you. The legacy of these heroes will never, ever be forgotten. Godspeed to our heroes, and God bless these great United States of America. I yield the floor, Mr. President.